right.
So this one I'll start from there, and I'll set this after you start.
Okay.
So now we're going to do this piece. Again, keeping the wire not so tight that it constricts its ability to plate.
Okay.
So the part can move. Okay. We're going to set for 7 volts for degreasing. Keeping in mind that we've probably already came out of an ultrasonic cleaner. Okay. Because any kind of oils or anything that are on there, the more we get off before we go in the degreasing, the better.
Okay.
We're going to go in for 1 minute. Okay, we can tell we're getting close to 5 amps. Looks good. You'll see the temperatures change a little bit, but it'll always work its way back up. This is because we're putting cold metal into the bath. And believe it or not, when it first goes in there, it will start to lose temperature a little bit.
Wow.
But it'll heat back up. Most degreasers can run anywhere from room temperature to 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Ours will run at both. The reason you want to use some heat is if a piece has had any kind of a passivation layer, so like an anti-tarnish dip or something, you need the heat to help get that off.
Okay.
It won't do it alone just from the cleaning. If I have pieces that I know have that layer on it, I'll run it at 150.
Oh wow. Okay. I don't know what kind of conditions I have in Africa for how clean things are.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's really important that you make sure and use the ultrasonic cleaner first.
Okay.
Because generally your ultrasonic, you can heat up enough and get good agitation in there and really get it good and clean. Looks good. So one thing we'll note on this part that we haven't seen, I think, on the other parts yet, is it appears to be that this is like a solder line possibly.
Okay.
So we'll see how that solder plates.
Okay.
Not knowing if that's like a lead-based solder, something low temperature.
Okay.
We'll see.
And how long again in here?
Only 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Generally, if there's some sort of passivation layer left on the part after cleaning, in the neutralizer, you'll see it bubble.
Oh, okay.
If you see bubbling coming off of your part in neutralizer, that means it's not good and clean. You need to go back through the process.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't see any action in the neutralizer at all.
Did you see anything?
Nope.
Okay.
We're good. Now we're going to go back to 4 so that we can run this second bath. Good.
So on this machine here, you're mainly adjusting the voltage, but you have the ability to adjust the amps?
You do have the ability.
Okay.
Generally in 1 liter, 2 liter, even up to 5 liter systems, you really don't need to mess with the amperage. There's a few baths that are specific to amperage. One is palladium.
Okay.
When you use palladium, you want to stay at low amperage, something like 1 amp.
Okay.
If you go much above that, the surface will become frosted.
Okay.
But generally our tech charts will tell you what the suggested voltage is to get that amperage.
Okay, I got you.
Occasionally you'll get a tech chart that'll say, operate at 1 amp. And then once your part's in there, you can lightly adjust the voltage until you hit that 1 amp mark.
Okay.
So this one you can see, this part was bigger because basically it was 2 of those bracelets almost.
Right.
So now you'll see our amperage is higher, our action is higher because the current density of that piece is more. It's still fine. So something we can talk about while we're doing this last piece is what difference agitation makes. I mentioned earlier that you have high speed, you have moderate. Agitation can change the color, okay? Because if you have no agitation, for example, and you have a bath that contains silver, so you're doing a gold bath and you need silver to get it to a green color, for example, with no agitation, the silver will kind of settle in the bath and not plate. So your color will be completely different.
Oh, wow.
So there's certain metals that need to be moving in the bath all the time in order to work properly. So it is important to pay attention to the agitation. All right. Again, there's that rich color. Smell a little bit of gassing from that one since we had a bigger part in there.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to set it to 3 volts. Okay. And we're going to go back in here for 30 seconds. Looks good.
And quickly, just go over the speeds real quick again.
So this is your control. So for example, this bath, since we're not in there, if we turn this one way up, you'll get to the point where you'll start to see almost a tornado in there.
Okay.
And that's a little too aggressive.
Gotcha.
You generally want to operate these at about half speed.
Okay.
All the way to the left turns it off.
Okay.
These, again, are your temperature controllers for your heater. All you have to do is hit the temperature change here, and it'll go to that point.
Okay.
If you want to save that temperature, so
Yeah.
that when you turn it on again tomorrow, you just hit set.
Oh, okay. When you first turn it on, is it at 0 or is it?
If you've set a temperature, like this one was already set,
Yeah.
it'll be 120.
Okay.
That's why it's important to turn those off,
Okay.
so that your heater doesn't just fire up in case there's no solution in there.
Okay. That's so cool.
That's good. Wow, looks great.
And so where the wire's at, it doesn't, because it's a little loose, you're not.
Yeah,
it's
it'll
plating
plate.
underneath
So
it.
something like an E-coat material, which is a resin-based material,
Mm-hmm.
will have anywhere there's contact, it'll leave what we call a scar.
Okay.
It just will not put product. Plating will still penetrate, and you'll still get plating.
Okay.
Only if you wrap it really, really tight around the area are you
Gotcha.
going to keep it from plating. So there'll be no reason why that
Important
didn't
to be
plate.
slightly loose.
Yeah, just a little bit loose,
Okay.
just so that it can penetrate in behind that contact point.
Right.
Then at the end of the day,
Mhm.
when you were ready to power down, for example,
Yeah.
your machine came with lids.
Okay.
Okay. What like I said, either do is kill all the heaters here, so I know if somebody turns this thing on or it gets left on, it's not going to overheat.
Okay.
And generally what I'll do is take and disconnect them here, just as another safety precaution.
Okay.
And it's really just a little plug that you unplug.
Okay.
And then this will stay on as long as you have these indicator lights will always be on, even if
Okay.
you turn it off. That's just saying there's power coming to that unit.
All right.
Rectifier you can leave on or off, but generally we have like a one power strip that we'll hit that'll shut down everything.
Okay. But there is a master power switch back here or not?
Not back here,
Okay.
but on the power
on
strip
that.
there. Yeah.
On the power strip is, okay.
So we'll kill that and that'll kill everything.
Okay. So the minute you plug this in, it's
These
on.
lights will just tell you that it's plugged in. There's
Plugged
power
in.
to it.
Okay.
We wanted something on here that tells the operator there's power to this unit. That way they know to check the heaters and make sure that they're
Okay.
not at risk of turning on or burning anything up.
Gotcha.
So then at this point, I would probably let the temperature go down a little bit on the baths
Mm-hmm.
before putting the cover.
Okay.
The covers yours will have a notch here for the heater, so you can
Oh,
leave
so
the
you can
heater
leave
in
the
place
heaters in
and
there,
it'll
okay.
just set right over.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's no reason, in my opinion, if you know you're going to plate again tomorrow, just cover them.
Okay.
There's no reason to take that solution and rebottle it.
Okay.
If you know you're not going to use the machine again for, a week, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and bottle that solution back,
Okay.
just to reduce any risk of contaminant.
All right.
And along those lines, it's really important wherever you set this machine up and this process up, that you're not anywhere near like a buffing machine where there's going to be anything in the air that could contaminate the solution.
Okay.
That's one of the worst things that a lot of times, for example, in New York, when people have small factories, they have their buffing machine right here, right behind it is their plating unit, and it's always contaminated. So it's really important to, I know space is tight,
I'm
but
guilty.
anything you can do to separate that
Okay.
a little bit, even if you have just a plexiglass, something that goes all the way to the counter that you can set over it
Okay.
when you're buffing, will help.
Well, we got the there's like a, you call it a rhodium containment hood that
Sure.
Quattro sells,
Oh, yeah.
and we got that, and so it's got the plexiglass in the
That's
front
perfect.
and things
Yeah.
like that.
If you have that, it's fine. You wouldn't believe that there's a lot of places that it's just wide open
Yeah.
and it's not covered or anything, and then right here's the buffing machine.
I'm
So-
guilty as charged.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Many,
it's
many
good
years
that you
like
got that.
Yeah. Cool.
As far as the time it takes to heat down, it's just dependent on what the temperature was.
Okay.
Keep your rinse solutions fresh.
Okay.
Really important. So after plating maybe a half a day, change these out with fresh rinse waters.
Okay.
Use it if you want to replenish, but if you're not going to do that, keep changing it out.
Okay.
Especially your degreasing rinse and your neutralizer rinse. Keep them fresh, keep them
Okay.
clean.
So this is all this is just distilled water,
Correct.
and is rinse distilled water too?
Always distilled.
Okay.
Yep. Or deionized.
Okay.
You never want to have tap water, because if we went from neutralizing, we just cleaned the part, and then we go into tap water, we're depositing metals on that surface.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into this bath. We're going to, contaminate the bath, but we're going to get probably a lot of little spotting and stuff.
Okay. And the neutralizer acid is a what's the name of it?
It's called neutralizer, but it's a 5% mixture. And so basically it's very mild. Its only purpose is to really, so you asked a question earlier about what can go down the sink.
Yeah.
You can neutralize the electric cleaner, the degreaser, with your neutralizer.
Oh, okay.
Verify that for sure, because I don't know
Sure.
much about the one that you have.
Yep.
But for us, we know that the purpose of this acid is to neutralize this
Oh, okay. I got you.
and to set that surface.
Okay.
So those two, like if we go to a trade show, you can mix those two together
Okay.
and they'll neutralize each other out.
All right.
But I wouldn't do that with the plating solutions.
Okay. Cool.